Welcome to Consumed, produced by Believe Community. This is a place where we have honest and vulnerable conversations around important topics that affect us from day to day, helping you become a better version of yourself. To find out more about who we are and what we are about, please check us out on believecommunity.org, and you can connect with us through Facebook and Instagram.
Hi to our listeners. My name is Ivan Ronald, and I see our listenership is increasing in different parts of the world. It's great to connect with you again. In the next few podcasts, we are going to be focusing on people's life stories and their journey they are on. I have a special guest with me in the studio this morning, the highly motivated and inspirational Eloise Briggeman. She's the CEO of the Wellness Center Trust, an organization that is focusing on breaking the cycle of poverty amongst the homeless and the destitute. She's also the financial director of their family business, the Briggeman Group. She's a beautiful wife, a super mom of two amazing teenagers. And also very important, at this stage of her journey, she is a semi-finalist in the Mrs. South Africa 2022. Hi, Eloise.
Hi, Ivan. Thank you so much for having me here today, and it's so wonderful to see you again.
Yeah, it's so good to have you. And actually, I'm looking forward to hearing your incredible story and the journey you are on.
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to sharing it with you, and excited to see where we go with that.
Great. For our listeners, our goal today is that you will be inspired and motivated to stay the course. No matter where you find yourself in your life's journey, that you can overcome any challenge, adversity, even when the odds are against you. If you stay resolute, focused, and determined, you can fulfill your dreams. So tell me, Eloise, tell me who you are and all about yourself, your history, your background.
Well, I am someone who is really passionate about helping others and uplifting people around me. That's just who I am now. But it's been quite a journey to get to that place. From a young girl growing up in a small community, a sugarcane farm area, very shy, wouldn't say boo to anybody, I've definitely come a long way. And I think it's by the grace of God that I've grown, developed, healed, and feel very strong in my faith and strong in what I feel now, that my cup is overflowing to the point where I feel like I can do more. And I'd really love to encourage everybody to do more, because there's so much more that can be done around us and to make an impact. And even at the end of the day, where we look back, we can say, wow, I've come this far, and I do believe that I've made a positive impact in this world. And I think that's basically my journey, that I feel like I'm on this journey. I haven't arrived, but I'm definitely enjoying the process. There's been moments where it's been awful because you are growing, you're stretching, you're healing. But now I can honestly say that I feel like I've got momentum. I feel like I've got strength. I feel like I can do more, and that is what I want to do. And I've got my eye and on the vision. I've got a goal in mind, and I feel like I'm surrounded by people that are encouraging, motivating. So I feel like I'm in a place in my life where I want to definitely give back and do more, and make an impact on this planet, a positive impact on this planet.
That's amazing. When did this actually, I'm just looking at, I know that you're the CEO of the Wellness Center Trust, and you're involved in breaking the cycle of poverty amongst the homeless and destitute. When did that journey start? What motivated you? When did you feel that call, should I say?
So, for like years and years, I was just, I think, as a person, you're growing up and you got your own struggles. I had financial struggles and issues and things that I had to overcome. And I think I was only at a point where I'd already had my two children, married, And I wasn't working because my kids were very small. There's only 1 year apart. And so like obviously my spare time, I'd literally brush my teeth. So I felt quite frustrated that I wasn't doing anything. Like I was crying out to God, like, I want to do more, be more, I was getting ready now.
Yes.
I felt like I wanted to be in that space
Yes.
of where my vision and goal was going. And I just remember the kids were obviously at creche and play school and whatever, and I felt like I needed to watch the movie Machine Gun Preacher. And I think that's where it all started, because I don't watch violent movies, and I just felt I needed to watch this movie. Didn't ever enter my head prior to this, and I felt this is what God wanted me to do. So I got into my car and I drove to, and I watched the movie, and it was so moving, because Sid Cilliers he didn't wait for anybody. He saw a need, and then he addressed the need, and he did everything he possibly could, and he still does, in order to change the situation. He doesn't need 3 prophetic words. He doesn't need confirmations. He doesn't wait until he's extremely rich. He did what he could with what he had, and it just grew. And till this day, years and decades later, he's still doing these amazing things in South Sudan. So after watching this movie, I jump into my car, and but prior to jumping into my car, I'd try to contact his organization, and I found every single email I could possibly find. There was 5 different emails I remember, and I sent an email to each of these addresses saying, I'm a mom of 2 small kids and our husband. We're coming to help you in South Sudan. We can possibly make it on these dates. Now, in all honesty, to be in South Sudan, you probably need to know how to use an AK-47. It's incredibly dangerous,
I can imagine.
Very violent. There is war going on all the time in these certain areas. And I was like, no, we're coming. And I didn't even mind. I was just not thinking very straight. I was like, I thought, this is it. We're coming to help. This is what I'm going to do, And I sent all these emails out, and I got into my car and I went to the local shop to buy a few groceries. And I was standing at the till, and I will never forget this homeless gentleman walked into the shop. And of course, there's many, many other people around in the shop.
Right.
Walked straight up to my face and said, "Feed me, Cece."
Wow.
And I was like, wow. Like, I know that God wants me to be here and do something here. Like, that was the most pivotal moment of my life. I think I was just like, we're not going to South Sudan. We have to do something right here in Durban. And so I got home, and thank goodness all those emails were rejected. And I said to my husband, that's it. And I spent a good long time praying into the situation, getting ideas on how to address this. Because anywhere you go in Durban, at the robots, there's people begging, people lying on the streets, digging out of dustbins, all those kind of things. And it wasn't like I was really awakened to that until I had this moment with this man in the shop. Right. And even then, the manager was apologetic, and everyone trying to get the guy out. And my heart just melted for him. I was like, this is terrible. He's a human being, he's desperate. So I got neighbors and people I knew, and we started cooking meals, home cooked, good quality meals, and just went to, on a Wednesday afternoon, the bottom of the road by the river, and we started handing out these warm cooked meals to the prostitutes and calling the guys that were sleeping under the bridge, and just started discussing and chatting with them, developing some kind of relationship, and see how the day was. And I was like, okay, we're not changing anything. We're feeding these people, but we're not changing their situation. And then it just started evolving. I felt, okay, let's start sponsoring IDs. And so we did. Our business sponsored 80 IDs. Home Affairs came to a community hall. We just got a whole lot of people that obviously needed IDs from the streets and stuff. And we just started doing that. And then I was like, okay, this is still not getting anybody off the streets.
Yes.
And then we progressed to skills development. And then on a weekend, we would hold classes for sewing and woodwork and something that they could make and sell. And then eventually I was like, okay, this is still not helping anybody, really long term. So anyway, years later, we are obviously, we are the Wellness Center Trust, and we operate out of Durban North, and we still are doing mentorship, discipleship, skills development, helping with job opportunities, learnerships, all those kind of things. And at the moment, after the flood relief, our big project right now that we're working with is Project Build. So we are literally helping build homes that have been affected with the floods. We've got 2 homes we started in Marion Hill, and we've got about 100 in Brydean that we're looking at. And so that's the part of the puzzle that we're doing at the moment, you know.
Yes.
It's just there is a need, and we just need to meet that need. And again, there are so many other things that need to be done,
Right.
and there's so many other issues that need to be addressed. But I feel like I can bring solutions to the table. I don't want to be a person that's just pointing fingers and complaining.
Right.
I do believe that I can bring solutions to the table, because if we have wisdom from heaven and counsel from heaven,
Yes.
who else is going to bring solutions?
Right.
So there's a lot of things about kids in this country that aren't getting birth certificates, about at least 100,000 a year. And
What?
we all know you can't get a postbox without an ID. And it's not something like we can't change. There are things that we can do to make these changes, even to improve children's education and just transport to school for, you know, people that can't afford it, because this is the next generation that we're wanting to uplift and empower. But if they can't get to school, they're not being educated. So there's solutions that we can bring to the table, that we can make a difference. Yes. And that's what I feel strongly about, is just really impacting and making positive influence, and not just sitting back and just watching it from my little bubble. And I want to encourage the communities and things to get involved and be part of the solution, because together we can definitely do more.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, for our listeners, just to remind you that I have Eloise Briggeman with me in the studio, and also she just mentioned the floods. Just for the sake of those that are outside of South Africa, the floods are in Durban in South Africa this weekend. Just this past weekend, we had some major floods. She was referring to that. So Eloise, tell me, as a woman, how do you find yourself navigating all these loopholes and red tape and the challenges you face? Or what were some of the challenges you faced as a woman?
I think there is, I know a lot of people feel that it is more challenging to be a woman, and it's more challenging to obviously climb the corporate ladder or be heard. And that is why I have decided to do something like this Mrs. South Africa journey this year, because I needed a platform. I needed a platform where my voice could be heard, and to be able to navigate what I would like to do with regards to obviously bring solutions to the table, because you can't really use your influence until you're really an influencer. I think this is the channel the door that is opened, and the channel that and the platform that I'm using, because I couldn't see it any other way. And it's not like I work in a huge business corporation and I'm trying to climb the corporate ladder there.
Yes.
I am a director of our business, our family business, but this was where I could see that this was the door that's opened. So it feels like it's not like I'm being challenged as a woman. I just found a platform that I could step into and start using and collaborating with. So I didn't feel it as like I was struggling as a woman and trying to find where I could, be a voice or which platform to use. I think we just need to look at opportunities and not really use our energy and be concerned about what we don't have, but look at what we do have and step into that.
Yeah, I can see you very passionate. And what drives you?
Oh, I think I just live and breathe for who I am in Christ. I feel like I'm on this planet for a purpose, and just as everybody else is, we all have a plan, a purpose, and a calling. And I feel like, there's no mistakes. There's always second chances, and I'm living testimony to so many of those. We all have made mistakes. We've all received second chances, and I feel like, you know, every breath I take is a gift, and that's, we're on this planet for a reason. And I want to be able to look back and say, I have made a positive impact, because I do believe as a Christian, how much more can we do? And when you look at the world around us, there's so many people that don't know God that are making incredible impact in this planet. And I do believe we should be making the biggest, most positive impact. And that is what motivates me. We should be stepping up, and we should be making the big decisions, because we can make good decisions, because we have wisdom from heaven.
Yes.
And so I think that's what really is motivating and drives me. And of course, I have a really amazing husband that supports me, and wonderful kids, and we do things as a family. So yes, we do business together, we do wellness center together, and I think that's really important, because together, as I said, we can do more. So we blow wind in each other's sails. So you do feel like you can conquer the world.
Great, Eloise. That was great. So why don't you share with us a little bit of your past and some of the challenges that you faced or difficulties that you overcame?
All right. So growing up, as I mentioned, I was very young. We lived in a small sugarcane farm kind of community, and I was very, very shy. I mean, like literally doormat shy kind of scenario.
So anybody could walk over you.
Absolutely. And I would even be, it was terrible. So I just remember, like, in one instant, I must have been like 5 years old at a little birthday party, and it was a dress up, and I was dressed up like an angel. And the mom of the little party girl said, come, let's all walk around and show off our outfits, you know. And I just could not do that. Like, I couldn't even hold somebody's hand and walk around to show my outfit, because I was just too shy. And I was just, you know, I remember even going to school. We moved to Durban, and I remember one of the first days at school, even the teacher made me in charge of the class, and you would think, oh wow, you know, like everyone had to be quiet, and she was out, and I was kind of like monitoring the class. And then when she got back, one of the boys said I pinched him, and of course she was horrified, but I was too shy to even defend myself, so I just took the blame. Like, I was that shy, and I just, you know, even my reputation, I mean, I was just too shy to defend myself. And by such a saving grace, my mom sent me to modeling, and that really helped me grow my confidence. I did a lot of photographic TV ads. I was in the shop windows. I did ramp modeling, and that really, really helped my confidence. Wow. So that to the point where even in the business, when I did work in the corporate world, I was very much defender of the defenseless, because I remember what it was like. Mm-hmm. And so when people would start bullying or picking on other people, I was the first person to stand up, and I didn't care if there was 100 people in the room. I would be there, and I would put my foot down. And so I think that's probably what has helped me be able to stand up and speak for the people that really don't have a voice. So that was definitely something that I grew into, and from first-hand experience. The other thing was coming from a small town community. My dad was a policeman. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. We really didn't have much. So financially, like for most part of my growing up years, you know, you notice that you don't have much and everybody seems to have more. And it didn't really bother me, but I know that in order to make a difference, you need money. I mean, you know, if you want to build homes for people that don't have homes now after the floods, you need money to build homes. Right. And I think that was part of my growing as well. Whereas when I went to Joburg after studying, I literally had hardly any money for petrol. Never mind, I had no money to even buy a chocolate. Like, I literally my salary went to groceries and rent and petrol money. That was it. Like, no other spending money. And I had to really learn about trusting God with regards to finances and sewing and things like that.
Right.
And I think that's where I got my breakthrough for finances.
Yes.
So that by the time I moved back to Durban, then I could deal with the next issues and so on. And I do feel that as we're growing up, we are met with these different challenges and we to overcome. And then as we overcome those challenges, we met with the next one. So even now, it's not that we are challenge free. It's just that we are just growing. We're continuously growing, and I'm open to continuously growing. So when we are met with challenges, we just have to, grow extra muscle to overcome those challenges. And I think that's even with the wellness center, when you meet with so many people that it is hard to work with people that you are so compassionate about. It was, at one stage I was being interviewed for a newspaper, and I was discussing the issues around some children, and I completely broke down. And I just, you have to learn to actually look at things objectively, because if you're too emotionally involved, you can't actually be part of the solution. You can be compassionate, but you have to learn to be able to make good objective decisions without being too emotional about the situation, because otherwise you'd be a complete wreck and never be able to do anything. So those are the kind of things, I think, and challenges that I've overcome. And even till today, like we wanted a building, and sometimes if you don't have the exact desire or dream, because we wanted a wellness center building, but looking back, it was God protecting us, because if I'd had that building, I wouldn't have had the finances to build the homes now, for example.
Correct.
And then I would just be doing skills development and helping, and we're still doing skills development. We're still basically renting a building. We're not owning a building. And there's a difference there, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you're wanting something so badly, but you have to trust God and know that the final say is that He has your back. And then I look back and I'm so grateful for that, because I would have made the wrong decision, and I would have been then cash strapped for the project that I'm actually really meant to do. So sometimes as you're growing and to be discerning.
Thank you, Eloise. That was a nice snippet of your past and your journey and how you overcame those challenges. But what I like, what I've picked up from you is just your passion, your drive. You are so focused, and it seemed like you are determined to overcome the challenges, to fulfill the dreams you believe that God has given you. And I like that, because that vision that you have and that goal that you have that you can see is actually driving you and motivating you to accomplish and fulfill those things. So you are an amazing mom, I know that, and wife. And I know you have 2 amazing kids, teenagers in fact. So why don't you give us a little bit of snippet into the Briggeman home? What goes on from day to day? Tell us.
Sure, thanks, Ivan. I don't know if I'm an amazing wife and mom, but I try my best. Or put it this way, I would say I'm quite a strict mom, to be honest. I expect a lot from my kids, only because we've brought them up differently.
Right.
I homeschooled them in their primary school years. And
wow.
Yes, and so I did a lot of critical thinking with them, entrepreneurship, develop their passions in their primary school years, because I just felt like when I left school, I didn't think for myself. I just, I didn't question anything, and I didn't want that to be what they would have to do as they leave school. I wanted them to be able to think for themselves and make proper decisions based on facts and things like that, and not what they just heard.
Right.
So I do expect a lot from them. So how it worked was, so Ethan is a muso, and even now, so part of the household, what happens in our household is Ethan's practicing music most of the time. Emily's the creative one, so she's baking, sewing, beading, those kind of things. And Edwin is obviously does his business, because he runs his successful businesses, and I support him. And then I'm obviously doing my Mrs. Africa journey. So it is a very busy household. And of course, in the mornings, we're a very close-knit family. So quality time is essential. It's not a want, it's a need, because I feel that we're on a different level. Even though Edwin and I are the mom and dad, there's another level with our family. So we do things together. So when we travel together. We've traveled as a family for years.
That's amazing.
So I just found, yes, when I left school and I did 1 or 2 travel adventures, it completely changes your mindset. It just broadens your horizons. And we just felt that was something very important for the kids too.
Right.
So our start of the day is obviously we pray together and have coffee together. So I know people might faint that our kids drink coffee, but yes, we do. We love coffee. And
I love my coffee.
We do. We love our coffee, good quality coffee. And and then now that the kids go to school, so they get dropped off at school and that, and then we go about our day. But even then, you know, we live a healthy, colorful life. So being healthy is very important. Choosing the right foods that add value to our bodies. Exercising is very important. And then obviously we encourage each other to achieve our dreams and goals. So we're going to LA in July. So Ethan is doing world champs for his music, and Emily is obviously coming with us. So we travel as a family, and and just encourage Emily's, like, you know, she's an author. She's written and published her own book, and it's just something that I feel it's important, because I do believe every single person on this planet is capable of the same things. All of us have gold in us. And I just felt that, you know, in their primary school years, if they can be international musos and authors and things like that, even at the age of 12 and 13, and it was a natural thing. It was like a homeschooling project, which just
evolved.
Exactly. And I so believe each one of us has that gold in us. And so, yes, and then obviously encouraging and helping Edwin with the business. And it's also grown because, you know, with that story, he was retrenched, you know. This wasn't just step into an international business. We started that business from scratch because he was retrenched. And I remember, because I was working, and then when we had Emily and Ethan, there's only 12 months between them. So I literally had, when he was working, he was an MD of a company in South Africa, and he came home at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I had 2 kids on my hip, 18 months and 6 months old, and he had just been retrenched. So we went from 2 incomes to 1 income to no income. And I was just, you know, I wasn't for a split second afraid or feared anything. I just saw this vision of our future, that we were going to have our own business. And I held on to that. You know, God just showed us we are going to have our own business. And I was very excited. I personally have always wanted my own business, just not employee material, I think. And he was obviously in shock. He couldn't believe it, because actually this company was thriving, and they just retrenched all the MDs around the world for their reasons. But anyway, it's no hard feelings. It was one of the best things that ever happened to us. So it took Edwin about the weekend to really get out of the shock. And I was so excited. I looked like a cheerleader the whole weekend. I was like, yay, we're going to have our own business. And, you know, and then I think in the natural, most people will think, oh, I need to find a job, or, you know, I need to find the next paycheck somewhere, you know, because they've just been retrenched. But it's to be just listen to what God wants you to do.
Yes, I know. I need to put out my CV there somewhere.
Yes, and it may be for some people, but sometimes the things that look like are the worst things that happen are maybe just the turning points in our lives to make us turn around and look in a different direction, and could be the best journey of our lives. And so, yes, we started this business. I think it's 13 years already now. And it's been the best decision ever. So we are definitely, it's a successful company, international company, and our lifestyle changed because he wasn't committed to, you know, international trips all the time. And we have more of a home family. He can work from home and from the office. You know, the quality of life has been so different. And we've been able to do more for the kingdom in that way, because the finances we can channel, finances in a different way now because of owning the company, you know. It's definitely, our business is a vehicle for the kingdom, that's for sure. So that was definitely, I would say, in some cases a challenge, but actually it was one of the best things that ever happened to us. And so having our own business, helping the kids, and now with them at high school, it's as people that have teenagers understand, it's a lot of pressure on the kids. So it's to kind of manage that they don't feel burnt out or stressed, because it's a real thing. Especially if there's obviously extramurals, exams are now, next week they start writing exams, and there's a lot of expectations on teenagers.
Right.
So it's hard to help them manage that in a healthy, positive way, and not and not in a way that could in the long term be detrimental to them. So it's just giving them tools to be able to still enjoy the journey and not feeling burnt out in any shape or form. And I think our personalities in the Briggeman family, we are very much goals and wanting to do more, and it's just who we are. I just think I would be a very depressed person if I didn't have these things in my life, because I'd feel like I'm going nowhere, anywhere, slowly, and I'd feel so hopeless. And I enjoy this. I feel like I'm born to do these things,
Amazing.
Yes.
It's incredible.
And the moments where you do feel like you might be heading into burnout, or you might be feeling a little bit anxious, you take those moments and you're like, okay, why am I feeling like this? You've got to analyze it, because there's no, God says be anxious for nothing, and you've got to just kind of take that moment and just analyze it. Okay, why am I feeling like this? Do I need to just step back for a moment? Do I really have to set aside some time and just be still? So you've got to kind of objectively look at every moment and situation when you start feeling that you've taken on too much.
Yes.
But I think we've managed that quite well as a family.
So you have to kind of be realistic where you are in your journey.
Yes.
Just hearing you now, so obviously you guys are, could I say, structured and organized, and you have goals, so that you can accomplish all these things.
Yes.
And what I also love that you have these moments or the breaks that you take.
Yes.
As a family. I'm sure that gives you the refresher and
absolutely. So they're not long breaks. We don't go for like 3-week holidays. I think I'd get too itchy feet. I can't be on a 3-week holiday. I think we just take moments. So we'll go away for like a weekend or something.
Right.
And to reset.
Yes.
Or even like one weekend at home. We'll be like, we're not going anywhere this weekend. We're just at home this weekend. And, and we still take those moments, like Mother's Day. Actually, I was away with the Mrs. South Africa, and Emily came with me. But then the following weekend, the kids then made that Sunday our Mother's Day, and we had a picnic at home, and it was very relaxed. And it just we just kind of navigate and go with it. If it doesn't happen on the day we want it to happen, we'll just change it to another day. Or we have to be very flexible. I think that's what it is. We're very organized, but we're also flexible in order just to go with it. You can't be too rigid, otherwise you'd literally break.
Yes. Yes. And I love what you said. You needed to grow some muscle.
Absolutely.
And so that you could carry more
and
increase your capacity to do what God has called you to do. And I love it because it sounds like you know what you want.
Yeah.
You know where you guys are going and what you need to accomplish. And therefore, you had to set all the goals, your plan, your structures, and I'm sure there had to be lots of boundaries around certain things to make sure that everything stays intact as best as you can by the grace of God to do what you need to do.
Yes.
But that's amazing. So what's Edwin like?
Gosh.
Is he like kind of similar traits to you, or is he a little bit different?
I think he's slightly
Or is he a bit
different.
more softy guy at home?
No, you know what? I know I'm a very strong woman, but you need a very strong guy to
Stronger
be
than
with
you.
a strong woman. Don't be fooled. I can tell you that. He is far more relaxed than I am, and I think that's why we complement each other well. I'm the organization queen, so, and that's how I run our home, like quite a tight ship, kind of, if I can say that kind of thing. However, he is definitely more relaxed, and obviously, like he's from fun country. He's the He brings in the fun, and so is Emily. I mean, they can make us laugh like, oh my gosh, all day. And so
Yeah,
they're
you need the
very
laughter.
similar.
You go insane otherwise.
Absolutely. And then Ethan are a little bit more serious and more practical kind of personalities. So you can see where the apple falls from the tree with the two of them. But also when the hard decisions, like Edwin he'll make a firm, hard decision and be very confident in it. I am very grateful for that because in what we're doing, you need a really strong partner.
Making those decisions is so important. You want someone to act.
Absolutely. So with Edwin, he's not the type of person that will, as I say, bring work home, as in whatever happens to the office, then bring it home. And like you would never know whether it was a hard day at work or an easy day at work. He is exactly the same. He still has a smile on his face. He's still happy to be home. He is still, obviously, we're all happy to see each other when we get home. But you would never know. So, I would actually literally, like the other day, I was like, is there anything I can, support you on? Or I feel so because he's my number one fan for the Mrs. South Africa, journey. He is so supportive. He is absolutely incredible. And I was like, is there anything I can do? And he's like, oh, maybe you can just pray for this, and this. And I was like, oh my gosh. He's just so strong. Like he just carries on.
That's amazing.
And nothing flinches him. So it's like I said, I may look like I'm the strong one. And, like I said, I run the house in a tight ship, but he is actually the man of the home.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
I just love your story and journey because, I've known you for some time now.
Yes.
I was trying to work it out the other day. It's like,
oh gosh,
17 years plus, somewhere there.
It's close to 20 almost.
Yeah, somewhere there, probably close to 20. And it's just amazing. So, listeners, what are you hearing now from Eloise is real stuff because I know a lot of this journey. So, yeah, from where she was and where she is today, it's amazing, amazing. So tell me now, I know in this point in your life, it's one of these highlights because you now have entered Mrs. South Africa competition or the pageant, should I say. 2022, amazing. Why? How did you get here? You guys are doing so much already. You guys, it's like there's no end. What I'm picking up is just about changing lives, transforming communities, making a difference wherever you are. And it seems like, there's a text in the Bible. It says, wherever your foot treads, I'm going to give you that.
Yes.
And it sounds like just like that. Because wherever you go, you are making a difference. Even when there's a bleak moment or when there's a disappointing moment, when others see like, no, this is not going to work out, but you see the opportunity that you could do something. Tell us why. Why Mrs. South Africa?
So,
how did you get here?
So as I mentioned, we are continuously growing. At the beginning of the year, I was crying out to God, like, there must be a platform where I can have a bigger voice to make a bigger impact in this nation. Because I do believe I've got more to give. I really do. And even with the Wellness Center, I feel like we can do more. But again, you can't really influence unless you have the influence to influence, if I can say it that way. And I was saying, what platform or where can I go that people can really hear my voice and that we can make a bigger difference, make a bigger impact in a positive way? And so I was watching an entrepreneur Zoom with Margaret Hirsch. It was a Friday, and I don't normally watch those. We do, like I said, we're continuously growing, reading books, and we watch, educational things and that. And just it was so random, like out the blue, Margaret Hirsch just said, oh, all you ladies out there should do Mrs. South Africa. Now we're watching an entrepreneur Zoom, and it was like just so random. She was like, no, she supports Mrs. South Africa, and all you ladies should do the Mrs. South Africa journey. And I was like, and the word she used was, it will give you a voice. It was literally, it sounded like my conversation with God the 3 days before kind of thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this the door you're opening? Like, wow, I would never in a million years think of doing a pageant, or a Mrs. South Africa or anything like that. I mean, it wouldn't have entered my brain, So I just looked into it. I Googled it a little bit, and it just so happened that the deadline for entries was literally in about 10 days. And there was a few things you had to do. You had to get a professional photographer to take headshots, and there was a whole lot of do a little video and the application form and whatever. And it just so happened that in literally 3 days' time, I'd arranged for a professional photographer to take photos, to do a shoot for our Super Smoothie business. And so I just said to her, while you're here, can you just take 2 headshots for me, And I submitted my application 2 days before the deadline, and I got in, and boom, here we are on this journey. And it's just been the most incredible journey, to be honest. It's a phenomenal platform, Mrs. South Africa. And yes, I do agree with Margaret Hirsch. Every married woman should participate. It really does help you grow as a person. And it's just, they're very strong. They've got pillars that they stand on. Right. And it's community, giving back, it's networking, it's business, and it's your own personal growth. And it's all those things.
Yes.
That's definitely something that you are growing in and you're applying right throughout your journey. So here we are.
It's amazing. So at what stage are you now in the actual competition? When is the finals, and where are you at?
Okay, so how it works is that on the 1st of July, they choose the top 25 to go through to the finals, and the crowning of Mrs. South Africa only happens in November. So it's a full journey. It's a 9-month journey. But so at the end of June, there will be judging, interview questions, and swimwear, and then obviously they've got influencer marks as well. So to be honest, I think it's the swimwear, I am working on it. I can't say I'm doing this journey for that particular part, but it's part of it. I think it's just you have to be confident. I think that's what they want to see, how confident you are. Right. But so yes, I think so. The thing is that obviously the part that they look at as well, like I said, the influencer is the support from your communities and from people around you, the voting, the liking on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. So that is something I had to learn. I literally started that Facebook page from scratch, and my Instagram, I didn't even know how to make a reel until I started this journey. So it's definitely something that I'm growing into. But it's been great. It's been fun. I've actually loved every moment.
Eloise, your story, your journey, even up to this point, is amazing. I just love hearing it. In fact, it's inspiring me to do more. One of the scriptures that always challenges me as well, and it's found in, I think it's 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. God has not given you the spirit of fear. Of love, power, and a sound mind. That means He's given us the ability to accomplish the things that even though we feel like it's impossible, but with God, all things are possible. And He's given us that ability. And so I just love your story. I just love the way you talked about your family life, and the fact that your teenagers are also they got their own aspirations and dreams, author, musician, and business, and your home environment is creating that space for them to flourish and grow and experience as you guys communicate and see how you're doing stuff and see how Edwin is doing stuff and catching on to it, which is amazing. Yeah. So what would you like to say to our listeners? In just as we wrap up, anything to inspire us?
Yes, I do believe that we are capable of far more than we think we are. Just look at around us, what we've been through in KwaZulu-Natal with from the looting to the floods to water, electricity, and all of that. Just that as an example, we are far more resilient than what we think we are, and we are way more capable of what we're able to do. And I do believe that not all of us need to change the world at a high level, but we can at least start with the first step. We really do have so much potential in us. And I just wanted to encourage people, just start. If there's something that you've had a burning desire to do, and I know that every single person has a desire to do more, to be more, to make an impact. And I just want to encourage everybody just to start. Take that first step and surround yourselves with good people. It's so important. You know, it doesn't have to be a big group. Even if it's one or two people, just one or two people that you can motivate, encourage each other. And one of my favorite quotes from Mother Teresa would say, "A life not lived for others is not a life." And it's just something that encourages me, because I just do believe we have one beautiful life to live. So let's make it count.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Eloise. It's amazing to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, you have another opportunity, a second chance to live your life to the fullest.
Absolutely.
And you can accomplish your goals, your dreams, your desires. You just have to stay the course, be resolute, focused,
Absolutely.
and work your plan.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Eloise.
Thank you, Ivan. It's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for having me here. And just before I just step off, I have to just remind everybody that, right, even though I want to encourage you, and that just remember that line up with the plan of God. I think that's what it is. Be in communion with Him, because every challenge, every success, every failure, every part of this journey is with Him. And I think that's why, from being a shy, empty shell of a person that I used to be, to now feeling that my cup is overflowing, is because I've walked with Him. So I just want to encourage you to take His hand and make this beautiful life with Him.
Thank you, Eloise. Thank you to our listeners. It was really fun having you, and this was incredible.